Hello, botanists, people taking Ohio Plants EEOB 210. And this is like really exciting for us, even though it's quite a challenge to do this remotely and online. Us, by the way, is me. I'm Dr. Robert Klips, Bob Klips. And with me today are your TAs, our co-instructors, namely.
I'm Callie Mattingly. Oh, hey.
All of whom are members of EEOB, the Department of Evolution, Ecology, and Organismal Biology at The Ohio State University. We just wanted to spend a couple minutes telling you basically the outline of the course. We hope you've looked at the syllabus, which is on Carmen. And the ways that we're going to communicate with this course include, of course, Carmen. We also have something that's kind of unusual for a class like this. It's an actual website that's actually in the internet. And we call it the Course Companion website. The URL happens to be ohioplants.org. It's got a lot of information about botany, which is mainly the topics that we cover in this course. And we'll send you a link for that. And it's also on the syllabus, which you've hopefully had a chance to see, which is, of course, on Carmen. This is an asynchronous course, meaning that rather than be present at a special time, the lectures and field trips are videotaped for you to look at anytime. They include assignments that will be clear about when they're due. And another thing that's kind of special, we're very excited about, are your own websites where you have like blogs, websites that are actually a subdomain of that Course Companion website that you will own for this duration of the course, and add information into it that have to do with the discoveries that you make during the course of this course. That sounds funny, course of this course. The kind of things that we're going to learn, some technical things about the plant life cycle. We're going to learn how to identify some trees. We're going to learn details about flower structure and fruits. We're going to learn plant families, which are like major categories of plants that have some characteristics in common, and plus they're related. Turns out that there are over 2,000 plants in Ohio, but if you know the characteristics of about 8 plant families, you know something about more than half of them. So we're going to learn that category of classification in some detail. We're going to learn some things about mosses and ferns and lichens. We're going to learn some things about the relationship between botany and geology, and some things about weeds, and how to describe plant communities, which will be done through a botanical survey that you carry out at a natural area where you are. The things that you'll need for this course include textbooks that you saw them on the syllabus. These are 2 popular press field guides, one of which is called Newcomb's. It's a wildflower guide, and the other one is a Trees and Shrubs by an author named Petrides. It's a Peterson Field Guide. Note, this is not the same as the Peterson's Field Guide to Trees, which is actually a little more elegant and beautiful, but this is kind of a little more old school in its presentation style, but we like it because it also includes shrubs, which a lot of field guides to woody plants don't include. So these are very important. You need them very soon, right away. So we hope you've already gotten them, and if you haven't, get them quite soon. The other thing that we're going to have some handouts for the course that'll guide you through our lab activities that will have credit for having filled out. There's about 50 pages of these handouts, and ideally, of course, we'd be handing them out. Under these circumstances, if you have a printer and can print the PDF versions that we post on Carmen, that would be great. If you're in a situation where you don't have a printer, I got permission to sneak into the office and do some Xeroxing, and we could send them to you at home. So if you don't have a printer and you do need the written copies of the handouts for filling out the worksheets and getting credit for it and learning better that way, we will ask you to send you your address, and we will throw in the mail. And we want to do that right away so we can get started right away. The other thing that we're going to have for this course, in lieu of microscopes, is a hand lens. Hand lenses are for botanists what binoculars are for bird watchers. They magnify things 10 times. And I'm going to come up with a way to have you be able to order those on Amazon. I'll treat you to them. I get paid the big bucks, so I'm gonna buy you all hand lenses. I just want to get the details on the one that I'm going to recommend. The other thing you're going to need is access to a natural area or more than one. We're going to go out to parks and preserves in the vicinity of where we live and discover trees and shrubs and mosses and lichens, all those things I just described to you, and blog about them or write about them on our websites. So some of accessibility to a natural area, including one that you're going to specialize in to do a report where you document pretty much all the plants that you see there and make a list and talk about them. Details forthcoming, but think in terms of areas that you want to go and learn about botany. The course's grades are based upon the handouts and worksheets that we'll post and send to you if necessary. The websites that you create that document your findings, the botanical survey, which is like a technical report describing the vegetation, and some online quizzes, 3 of them, and a final exam. And we are so excited about the prospects of exploring botany, even if it's done during challenging times. This is the point at which I'd ask if there's any questions. And if there are any questions, feel free to email any and all of us. Callie and Ben have office hours.
Yep.
And one of the things that, and Callie and Ben, what else should we mention that I might have forgotten or needs elaboration?
I think you hit all the main points. Yep.
Great. One of the things that we do in the class, and that we will still do even though it's remotely, is introduce ourselves. And we're going to have like a little icebreaker activity. It's called actually I found it in this book called Teaching Unprepared Students. Now we know that you're not unprepared, but it still has pretty good techniques for teaching and learning. And one of them is like a coat of arms activity, where you make this this iconography to describe yourself. And as you will see, and we'll post the details of this on Carmen right after we talk to you right now. And so this is a coat of arms that has basically a motto that I like, some things about where I am from, what my interests are, and a little symbol that describes what especially interests me. So this is actually a picture of this. So this is my coat of arms that describes me. I'm introducing you via this modality. This is a picture of a moss, about which more later, but there's the leaves and this little spore-containing structure at the top. Wait, this is also about me, not about the moss. My maxim, motto, pithy little phrase, is don't let the best be the enemy of the good. This is mostly advice to myself, considering all the new things that we're trying this term. And where I'm from New York. I lived 3 different places in New York. I lived in Long Island, where the ocean is, which I miss dearly. And then I moved to Syracuse and Forestry College, same school Callie went to. Hooray, Forestry College, ESF, yay. Did they call them Stumpies when you were there?
Oh, yeah.
And then to Buffalo, and then to here, Ohio, which my parents are actually from, but that's not why I'm here. I just ended up here because my wife's family's from here. She's upstairs wondering who I'm talking to. My interest is moss, and lichens. And these little pictures, I'm sure you can tell, are pictures of things with lenses. I love optical devices. I love microscopes. You can see microscopes back here. And cameras and hand lenses. Oh, I got to show you this. This is cool. This is cool. This is a 150-year-old microscope that my daughter got me for my birthday. Isn't it beautiful?
It is.
I know.
Cool.
And it actually works. Put it up here. And so we're going to ask each of you to make a coat of arms like this yourself. And if you send it to an Carmen, and we can use it, put it on the Course Companion website. Quick thing, one thing I want to say about the Course Companion websites. They're a lot of fun. We'll give you the details later. Did anyone else make a coat of arms?
I did.
What? What's it like? Show it to us.
Yeah. Well, hi, I'm Callie, one of your TAs, and here's my coat of arms. So I made the whole thing in Arabidopsis flower, and Arabidopsis is the model plant, model organism, like a lab rat, but it's the plant version. And it's in a family we're going to learn about called Brassicaceae, which is the mustard family or the broccoli family. And the flowers of that family, they have 4 petals and 6 stamens in the middle. So that's what I kind of tried to draw with my little cartoon here.
Are they all the same size?
No, they're not. There's 4 tall ones and 2 short ones.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And so for my little symbol, I put a hemlock tree. When people ask me what my favorite plant is, I say that one, although I really have a lot of favorites. And the places I'm from, I put Rush, Kentucky. That's my hometown where I was raised. I didn't put Syracuse, but I should have because I lived there for a while, and then Columbus now. And I've lived here for almost as long as I've lived other places. So it feels like home at this point. So it counts anyway. And then for my quote, I put this Theodore Roosevelt quote. I'll read it in case you can't see it. The credit belongs to the man who is in the arena, who if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. And I think that, failure is a big part of life that we have to learn about and deal with. And I think that this quote fits with the challenges that may face us as we create a new online course. So that's kind of what I was thinking with this quote, in the same sense that Dr. Klips picked his as well. So I think we're going to dare greatly and do really fun things in this class. And the things that I study. So I study invasive species. So I'm mostly just kind of broadly interested in what makes plants and other things too, but mostly plants, invasive.
Super.
And I heard that Ben maybe also made a coat of arms. Is that true?
That's
That
right.
is true. Hi, everybody. I should have put my name on this. I'll write that on here real quick. Seems pretty important. All right. Real time. So here's my coat of arms. I had I colored in some of the parts that were supposed to be red, so that's what that's all about. So I'm originally from Alliance, Ohio, also known as the Carnation City. It's where Ohio gets the state flower. It was bred there initially, I guess. I then moved to Columbus. So I lived in Alliance from my birth until I went to undergrad, which I did at Ohio State. I'm now a PhD student here, so I've lived here for close to 10 years now. So Columbus is definitely, Columbus is my home now, definitely. But this is my origination spot. I kind of forget what this was supposed to be. I think it's just an image that we like. So I drew some mountains and a little lake with a little trail. When I'm doing my field work, these are often the type of places that I go, up in the Pacific Northwest and the mountains there. If you haven't been out there, it's a place you should go. Look for really cool plants. My quote here is from a Dr. Seuss book called The Lorax. It says, "I speak for the trees have no tongues." I guess that might be a little self-explanatory, but I think when I was a kid, that was my favorite book and probably influenced me to my life path that I've chosen today, which is to be involved in the biological sciences and ecology and that sort of thing. And then down here, I just wrote one of the things. I study a lot of different things. I'm in the EEOB department, as Dr. Klips and Callie have mentioned, and part of what I do is phylogenetics. I drew a little tree down here. So I'm interested in, relationships between taxa. I tend to work at the species level, so relationships between species rather than between bigger groups of plants. And also the flower here is a penstemon flower. That's my focal study organism is from the genus Penstemon, which is in the Plantagenaceae family.
Super. enlightening and inspirational, guys. We're looking forward to exploring plants together. So thank you, Callie and Ben, for uh, explaining that. And looking forward to the next couple of days. What we're going to focus on is a pretty detailed look at the plant life cycle. We're gonna actually even talk about chromosomes and what makes a plant to plant. They have interesting life cycles. It's two different stages in them, something called the gametophyte and something called the sporophyte. Maybe you remember that from biology class, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. We're going to explain it in great detail or some amount of detail. And we're going to start, our first lab activity is going to be identifying trees and learning how to use dichotomous keys, which are tools for identifying plants. So with that, we're all excited about our course starting. Again, have any questions, send us emails. And thanks a lot for your attention. And we're looking forward to exploring plants together. Bye for now.